that throaty sounding engine still pulls once you go over 3,000 RPM. Before there was Civic and before there was VTEC, there was this, the Ballade. And I'm not talking about the watered down Ballade of the current age. I'm talking about this, the 1983 model. My name is Ernest and this is Retro Review. So let's start with the outside, and of course, because it's the 80s, there's plenty chrome visible all the way down the sides. These vents over here are actual air vents and not the fake stuff that you find on modern cars these days. There's nothing fake here. When last have you seen a single piece bumper that's not integrated into the whole body? Incidentally though, this one has the rubber flap over here, which I think is supposed to aid with aerodynamics, and it was something that not many people like, because as soon as it starts to bend like that, it makes the front look a little bit not nice. This one comes in a bright red color and the details are just wonderful. In 1983, this was the choice of all of our aunts and uncles. And at the time where reliability wasn't so much of a thing, Honda made it a thing.
Launched in 1980, the Honda Ballade quickly became a popular vehicle in the new luxury vehicle market. In a time where fuel consumption and reliability was needed, Japanese cars were no longer seen as a cheap alternative.
How many of you knew this before right now? I know I didn't. I had no idea these folded forward like this, and underneath here you'll find Honda's 1.3 litre carburetor engine. All over the world there were various iterations of this depending on which country you went to. In South Africa there was only one model sold, and that was either manual or automatic.
The name Ballade was taken from the French word for a ballad because it had an upmarket sound which appealed to the target audience.
On an old car like this, it's easy to see where the chassis doesn't line up, but this one looks perfectly straight, especially at the back here. Even though by modern standards this isn't a very luxurious car, Honda these days has what they call magic seats, so lots of space in their cars, but that is not a very big boot. So forgetting for a moment that this car's interior is absolutely mint, you've got a lovely 4-spoke steering wheel over here with a nice little hooter. I like the seating position, it's not bad, but just like most old cars, the shoulder is so low. I mean, you can see my whole upper torso from inside here. Then what else do we see? Luxury appointments. You've got a demister button over here, which is very nice. It's even got a light attached to it. This one's got air conditioning, folks. No power steering though, but still aircon. And when last have you seen one of these? A choke pulley. Other luxury appointments include this rear view mirror adjuster over here. Then you've got an internal light where the switch of this internal light is still like new. Amazing. In fact, many of the things in this car feel like new. Even this quartz clock over here. Wow. No park distance control here. No. Yeah, you gotta use your eyes, people. But luckily, there is plenty visibility out of this car. Back then, many cars didn't have window tints. So it's actually kind of refreshing to not have a dark tint around me. The thing about this car that I've realized after just driving it for a few kilometers is that if you test drove this car in 1983 and you just came from the Toyota to test drive a Corolla, I think you might take this car. It drives much smoother than the Toyota. And although I haven't driven the cars both brand new, this one still feels new after all of these years.
And that clicking sound that you're hearing That was from a sticking clutch, but I'm sure Mike and his team will sort that out.
Oh yeah, but that throaty sounding engine still pulls once you go over 3,000 RPM. And the reason the car drives so nicely is because it only weighs about 800 kilos. The sounds the indicators make, it's typical of the era. And this one over here has all the switch gear. You've got the little hazard switch over here. This one doesn't have leather seats or anything. It does have pleather on the side of the seats, but these seats still look good. And because this was what looks like a minimal owner car, it's only got 85,000 on the clock, these seats are still plush and new, along with pretty much everything else in the car. Even the roof looks nice. The gear lever operation is, it's spot on. Yes, you get play down the middle, but it's not more than it should be. This is probably what the car felt like from the factory. And don't get me started on the fact that this was a 5-speed, people. Not 4 on the floor, not 3 on the tree. This is a 5-speed gearbox, the most modern technology available in 1983. Honda built its reputation on reliability, and in fact, this car was built in the UK as a Triumph. And it was so reliable, in fact, that it was the most reliable Triumph ever. But then, in the 80s, Honda went on to do the next generation with the pop-up lights and all the other iterations of the Ballade that became very, very popular in South Africa. And remember, there was even a joint little Mercedes-Honda collab that happened later on with the AMG Honda. The dials on the dash are clear, crisp and concise, and this car is exceptionally well looked after. There is not a crack on any of the dashboard parts. In fact, there's not a tear on the seats, not on the leather here, but the gear lever. The styling on this car was always a little bit dinky, wasn't it? It wasn't the coolest looking car of the time. And now looking back, it does look quite American actually. And Honda has gone on to dominate the American market, so maybe that's a job well done. But the fact that this was made in Europe is quite strange as well. Direction changes are quick, and if I needed to swerve for something, I probably could. The suspension even feels good and progressive, and it allows you to shift that minuscule amount of weight from side to side. So I would imagine in its day, this was also quite a safe car on the road. No airbags here though. All you have is a nice hard piece of plastic to smash your face on. But there'll be none of that happening today. I feel like a car like this isn't supposed to drive fast. It's supposed to be a city runabout, but when you're driving it like I am right now, really slow and measured, it's also supposed to be good. And it is. The back seats are a little bit cramped, but the kids are small. Thankfully now, in this 1983 year, there's a new kid in town. If you wanted reliability and dependability, you didn't just have to get a Toyota. You could have got a Ballade.